So in this lesson, we'll be looking at the app bar and the nav bar. So let's start with the app bar, which is this top part here. So when you create a page, you always have an app bar that's displayed. And if you want to change it, you can just click here and you have a few different options. To edit it, what we can do is we can go to settings, and then you have nav bar and app bar on top, and you can click on the different nav bar or app bars. And then you can change the height, the elevation, the icon, and the text, and so on. So these are the basics that you can do. You can also change a few more settings. So when you click on the app bar, you have the height of the app bar that you can change, and you can also change the background color and some elevation here as well. So these are the basics that you can do. If you want to go a little bit deeper in this, what you can always do, so you have the text widget, and what you can do is you can just wrap it. So wrap the widget with a row, and then from there you can edit it a bit more, add extra icons if you want, and so on. So that's it for the app bar. It's quite basic but quite useful in a lot of cases. So let's just edit the app bar to have the text in the center. So we click on the text and we put it in the center. Now let's go to the nav bar underneath. So let's just set it up. So what we need to do here is on the home page that we've clicked on, you can click on show nav bar. We can see that there's going to be an error, but we need to first add it to the second one. By the way, you can add it here, but you can also add it here. So we'll add it here. And here we have a nav bar. Just make sure sometimes this doesn't work. As you can see, there's an error, and what you need to change is go to the settings, and here at the very top you just need to show nav bar. So boom, we have a nav bar, and here we can just change the order of the nav bar inside. As you can see here, of course it's just the same icon. We'll change this afterwards. And then there's some basic styling you can do, changing the color, changing the width, changing the margin, and so on. And I chose here on top the floating nav bar. You can choose one of the two others, the Google nav bar or the default nav bar. I would try to avoid the default nav bar because it does create some errors sometimes, ironically. So try to stick with the two others. Okay, so now let's just go back to here. And now here we have it. Let's just change. So here on the home page, we're all good. But with the profile page, we want it to change. We don't want it to be home. We want it to be profile. And then we want to change the icon profile like this. Perfect. That's very nice. So now we have a profile here and the home here. Very nice. Okay. And then here, other than that, there's some other small things that we can change. For example, if you want to change the text here, you can click here and edit the text type here. And then finally, one last thing. So this is very nice for the profile page, the home page, but imagine that you have an extra page here. With this extra page, you don't want it to display an extra icon on the nav bar, but just want to have the same nav bar as the two others. So all you have to do here is, instead of clicking on show nav bar, and if you click on here, you'd have an extra icon that comes up. No, we don't do this. We just click on the next one, which is always show nav bar on this page. You click on here, and then you can see it's much nicer, and you can click on the two others. That's it. Let's maybe have a test. So as we can see, we're on the home page here. You can go on the profile page here. Perfect. It changes very nicely. And if you go to page 1 here, it's not highlighted at all, but you still can go back to the home page or profile page. So it all works perfectly. That's it for this lesson.